The attack is psychological and powerful. The attack is psychological and powerful.
All right. How's everybody doing? Hopefully you're having a good Monday. You had a great weekend. You know, Bitcoin's been holding pretty steady, to be honest. I mean, we saw a little bit of price action, and you know, I've just been kind of scouring the different boards while it's been slow, and it's so funny how everyone's kind of getting hyped up. We'll go up $100, and they're like, "Oh, we're pumping it." You can tell the consolidation, the low price movement, the volume being so low. It's kind of like watching paint dry, to be quite honest. You know, so I've been kind of doing the static videos when it's really slow, because you know, honestly, a lot of people don't have time for live streams, and at the same rate, it allows me to get some other stuff done, and it's basically the same information. And the people that can't watch them, you can just turn the light or the the static video on and get the information. But I've noticed we actually have some fundamentals coming up. You know, before we get into the actual technical analysis part of this, if I'm not mistaken, there is a Fed meeting coming up. I want to say it's in like 3 days. The last time we had a rate hike, Bitcoin had a nice little pump off of it. We have the back launch coming the 23rd. And then also, if you haven't watched the news, it's not directly correlated to Bitcoin. But Saudi Arabia's oil, like they had like an oil reserve, something about basically they got bombed or something got shot in an oil reserve. A whole bunch of stuff got blown up, and it's affecting the oil supply. And there was a tweet by Trump saying something about we were locked and loaded. You know, usually when you have like economic or like global turmoil, like such as war, your safe havens will run up. And I don't know if you've noticed, but gold and silver had a nice little spike today. Stocks were kind of, I mean, let's go to our watch list. I don't think the Dow Jones so the Dow Jones was down by 142, and SPY we creeped above 300 and then closed. So, you know, some very interesting stuff here. But it was really shocking to see the safe havens get pumped, and then to wake up in Bitcoin really didn't dump, but we did shave off about $150 or so earlier this morning. So, you know, we do have some fundamental catalysts coming up. You know, I know the charts are kind of screaming that I'm not really screaming, but they could be pointing towards a dump. But from a fundamental aspect, there's really not a huge catalyst, at least on the fundamental side, you know, saying that Bitcoin is going to go down. So, you know, enough chatter about that. You know, I just wanted to get the news part of it done. It was just kind of interesting watching the headlines. You know, because we only really talk about politics or stuff like that, what if it has to do with our stocks or, you know, more importantly, you know, our Bitcoin. So, getting back onto the technical analysis, you know, we're going to start, you know, when you sit down at your computer and you're speculating on a trade, I don't know if you haven't noticed yet, but I start out every stream exactly the same. You need to identify your trading environment that you are trading in. So just like on our static video that we talked about this morning, on your daily, you are showing a possible another lower high. So you have your 1, your 2, and your 3. And also while I'm doing this, if I could get a sound check as well, that would be much appreciated. I believe I have it pretty low. Yeah, exactly, Mike. But you can see here, we have a third lower high, and if we take our, just might as well get that out of the way, but you can see here, our money flow is, we're kind of leaning into the red right here. But guys, don't put too much into this daily, because it just hasn't been that great the last 2 weeks, really, since the beginning of August, really calling these moves. You know, we've been talking about this second lower high. And then if you look here, you had your high. I mean, the sell volume on this was just very minimal. I mean, you barely eked out anything. You pop back to the upside, and it was just weak as well. The volume has just really kind of sucked, to be honest. Bitcoin's it's kind of gone to the afterburner. And if we go to Bybit here, because this is something I realized today. Okay, Bybit's doing a little better. We're only at about just under 600 million contracts today. I looked at it earlier this morning, and we were only at like 185, 200 million, and I was like, Jesus, like, That's extremely low. So, nonetheless, the daily, you know, we are pointing bearish on the daily. All right. So, you know, if you do follow CryptoFace, you know that you get your most powerful moves with the most volume behind him when you get to about these white lines. I think he has them blue. I'm not honestly sure. Sorry, let me turn this volume down on my end. It's kind of distracting. I only really listen to techno music with you guys, but it's pretty neutral music. But you can see here, you did throw your snake eyes. This is a very bullish indicator. But you have to confirm it somehow. And if you look here on the 4-hour, I'm not really seeing anything there. But you can definitely see from here, you are making a lower high in bearish momentum. So we're going to watch this closely. But you can see here on the money flow, we are kind of creeping more here in the red. So there's two. So, you know, let's watch this build yet. I'm not seeing this creep towards the middle of it where we're going to round it off. So we're going to keep an eye on this one. We're going to keep an eye on it. Let's go take a look at the 1 hour. And I want you guys to notice this trend, all right? Do you see how the red, we're starting to see more red pop up here? I wonder if I can get this to actually go green. Give me just a second, guys. I want to see if I can turn this yellow. Oh, or is it all? Okay, it must be showing yellow because... Interesting. So, but nonetheless, you can see that we are definitely... The red is building here, similar to what we were over here. Not to this extent yet, but it is building. The VWAP is, you know, it is red. So let's keep working down. Let's go look at one close range. And you can see here, you did pop your buy signal here. You have your green dot. This is Market Cipher B, the 30-minute. I guess you could maybe say you had a lower high with this. But really, you can see your money flow. We are popped back down. And we are possibly, you know, we talked about this the last couple of days. It's kind of looked like we're just in this really tight range, guys, between 10,000 like 350, 10,004, and really that like 10,100. I think on our charts today we had a wick down to 10,050, but we are like just insanely in a very tight trading range. We've been in this range since, well, it feels like forever. But we've really been hovering between like 10,050 and 10,004 since, I mean, the second week, the 8th of September. So we've really been in this trend since, I mean, it feels like forever, but I guess it's been about a week. I mean, we've had little minor dips to break out of this, but then we immediately pop back into it. So if history proves anything, you know, because I do believe in, you know, history repeats itself. Generally, you have violent moves. Eventually, the volume will come in at some point, and we will break this drastically to one side or the other. And if we pull this out, you can see, look how close we're getting. Not only are we getting closer to our descending line of resistance, you're sitting right below your upward, your actual like technical resistance. But we're getting close to the 23rd. We're getting very, very close here to the 23rd. See, I don't know. I think it has something to do with the computer. Like if you guys have older computers, because I have the volume pretty much. I mean, it's as low as. I mean, I've done literally over 80 streams. I always pretty much have it at this level. I mean, I'll turn it down a click, but... And also, I think it has something to do with whoever makes this stuff, like the music, like how they like process it into YouTube. So, we have the 23rd. We're creeping up. We have our upward head resistance. It starts at about 10,000. It's about 10,450, 10,004. And then you have your actual top of this box, which we've had since... I mean, my God. I guess it's really been the start of this week, really. But this 10,005, 10,006 is going to be some pretty decent resistance. So, from a bearish perspective, I would actually kind of like us to see maybe hit this box. And then, we may have, we're really going to have our moment of truth with Backed. I really feel like if we were going to be bullish with Backed, it would have been a buy the rumor, sell the news type of event. So, interesting stuff. And there is supposed to be, like I said, there is a Fed meeting coming up. So if they are going to mess with the interest rates, maybe we'll get a little bounce off that. Who knows? So for me right now, I'm pretty much neutral on Bitcoin. I'm more like neutral to bearish. The only reason I'm not fully bearish right now is the volume just sucks. It's just absolutely terrible. And someone's going to get massively burned on this because, like I said, volume will come in at some point. It always does this. And we will break this trend violently. It's just a matter of when. So, looking here at the 2 hour, the 1 hour, it looks like maybe we could have a little bit more of a rise. Maybe we go back to 10,004 and then we dip again. But if you're asking me if you think we're going to break, this descending line with what I'm seeing in front of me right now, probably not. Probably not. But we've never seen. No one really knows what to expect with Backed. We can just sit here and we can speculate, but when it comes down to it, it's going to be impossible. We've never seen money like this ever enter the market, and last time we ever gave basically institutional investors access to trade futures or any really type of Bitcoin, they crashed the price. So remember that. Everybody was shouting that institutional investors were going to save Bitcoin in 2017. And it marked the first day of the bear run. So keep that in mind. So for right now, maybe we can flip. We just broke above it. You can actually see we came back. We tapped our resistance here. I don't know why it keeps fudging my lines. I think maybe my mouse is clicking and dragging on stuff as I move over it. But you can see here this morning, we actually had a really nice touch off 10,050. And I really want to emphasize this, guys, as well. I keep having a lot of messages of people asking me, like, they basically want like step-by-step instructions of how to swing trade. That's like asking how to fly an airplane in a paragraph. And that's why we do these live streams, because if you've watched this stream for any amount of time, you know I am not a percentage trader. You will never see me say, okay guys, I'm longing at 10,050 and I'm selling when I'm at 15% profit and not a percent less or a percent more. If you use your investing strategy by percentages, you will get burned eventually. Is it really worth missing out on taking profit because you wanted 15% gains and you were at 14.5 and you got greedy trying to wait for that 0.5% to come in? So this is why I draw my support and resistances. All right, if we go up here and we actually tap 10.4 again and you short up here, based on this chart, if you're looking to cover and take your profit on this trade, I like to set mine in front of resistance. So if you short at resistance, I like to put my cover orders right before support. So honestly, I would put the order somewhere like in here. Or in this case, since we're so this was our support, we briefly broke under it today. If you shorted at 10.4, I would maybe look to take a little bit of profit here because we may have flipped this back to support. That's why I try to go through all the processes and we go through every stream the exact same, because it's like trading's an art, and it's not something you can explain in a paragraph. And that's why I try to go over all the processes of trading, of when to cover, when to take profit, how to start your positions, how to close them. No matter how great an indicator is, or no matter how great anything really is in trading, taking profit is up to you. So use technical analysis to put your take profit zones, when to enter trades. If you're looking bullish, on market cipher B, the blue waves just screaming by, and you see you're sitting right above support, probably is a good time to enter a position. But if you see down sloping resistance, down sloping momentum, and you're sitting right at resistance, chances are it's probably not a good idea to bet against that. And you'll probably either want to take your profit or maybe think about opening up a short. So I'm going to try to explain things a little bit more. I mean, I thought I was already doing it, but I'm going to try to put more emphasis into it. Because I've just, like I said, I've had a ton of questions of how to be a swing trader, and it's a little bit more sophisticated than anything I could just write down on a comment for you. So, you know, so if I feel like I'm repeating myself or it gets annoying, let me know. But I really want to make sure I get this through, because the best way to learn is through these live streams or my static videos, rather than me trying to, it's like trying to teach you how to cook through a book. You know what I mean? You can teach someone how to cook, you can read all about it, but until you get your hands dirty and in the kitchen, you probably still can't cook, if that makes sense. So I'm going to try to be more transparent and the processes of how I enter and exit these things. How you doing, In It to Win It? Marcel, Mike Wright, how you doing? Dad's Fawn. Hey, we got Crypto Face. How you doing? Hopefully you're having a good day. Smo Phone Netherland. Interesting username. Welcome. Armacida. Vishal. Make sure I don't miss anyone. Welcome everybody. And it's when you finally got here. So I just wanted to be transparent on that, because especially with how static this movement is, guys. I know sometimes misery likes company, but if Bitcoin's trading in a $50 trading range, there's really not a lot to live stream about, So that's why I really like making these static videos. Like if you wake up and Bitcoin has just done nothing, we're trading in a $50 trading range, unless it looks like we have a super move imminent, I'm probably going to stick to the static videos, at least in the early morning, and then we'll do like an afternoon stream. But I just wanted to be transparent on that. So, but looking at Bitcoin here, you can see we had a clear rejection off about 10,400 right off resistance. So, if you bought this, if you bought off support, and this is the thing I want to show you guys. So when we had this dip earlier today, what was your signal to buy? Do you see it? Because I do. This is part of how to start a trade. You see you're falling, you see your bullish momentum right here. You had your snake eyes buy signal over here, super bullish, all right? But granted, you probably made a nice profit off this, but that I love Market Cipher, and it's good at confirming itself. If you can have your indicators confirm their own calls, or have other ones to confirm it, chances are you're going to do pretty well on your trade. Well, guess what? You came down today, or earlier today, you basically rejected your resistance, you came back down, and look at this, you bounced right off your support. Well, what else do you see here? You saw basically a lower high and bearish momentum. Lower high. This would have been a signal to long somewhere down here. You're sitting above decent support. You're sitting above strong support. 10,050 is going to be extremely strong support. If you put your fib levels from a short-term perspective, like a swing trader's mentality, and you're not using 3,100 as your swing low or your absolute low, I have a whole video talking about Fibonacci retracement. Your 618, I think if we put it at 9,000, which I've seen a lot of people do, it's about at 9,900. So I have our line here, and you can see where we have multiple reactions off it to the upside. And then, of course, our famous, I feel like we've been talking about this forever, but 9,750 to 9,800. Hey, Steven, how you doing? Welcome. Dad's Fawn. Welcome, everybody. But let me know in the comment section, do you guys enjoy the static videos? especially like when the volume is low, because one of the biggest things I've had people ask me is a lot of people they work jobs during the week and they don't have time to watch a 2, 3, 4 hour live stream. So the static videos are not, they're not only allow me to be more thorough because I have to get to the point, but you can replay them at any time. So, but here's Bitcoin though. You have 10,400 as your resistance right now. It looks like we're trying to hold this 10,250 area. But as we just discussed, if you're looking for actual like major support, 10,050, that's going to be your go-to. And I'm going to try to make things like this more apparent in my live streams. You're above support. You were showing lower bearish momentum. This is a signal to buy when it was down here in the moment. I mean, it's too late to jump on it now, but so there's good old Bitcoin. The current price is 10,250. Yeah, and it's when yeah, I love doing this the static videos. It's just sometimes, you know what I mean, it's kind of pointless to do a 3-hour live stream when we're watching Bitcoin trade in this $50 trading range. So I would rather be able to focus on the educational videos for the nights, be with you guys in the Discord, and we can actually, you know, I can sit here basically and go through our cryptos and our stocks to look at, you know, material, because we always go live at night. Even if we're in a $20 trading range, we always go live for our night streams. So let's take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum has actually looked really well. We were showing some really nice lower levels of bearish momentum when Ethereum was in the 170s, and it's really nice to see this play out. And we are just about to get to our major resistance coming up. Ethereum honestly looks the night. I mean, it looks the best probably out of all the cryptos right now. So let's get this up. So looking at Bitcoin here. I'm sorry, looking at Ethereum here. I'm so used to saying. So we're going to start out just like we do with Bitcoin. We're going to identify our trading environment. This is how you should always start out your positions when you first get to your computer or whatever you use to trade, your tablet. So you have a slight reaction off this. You can see it's not. We zoom this in. Let's see if it maybe stretches it out a little bit. You can see right here. All right. You have a little bitty, kind of like a little hump right here. It was a lower level of bearish momentum. And, you know, I love seeing lower levels of bearish momentum. And your money, and you're like, here we go. And your VWAP is this red. When you are showing this red, and do you see how your money flow right here? You see how flat we are? I mean, literally screaming a buy. We talked about it. I was like, man, I kind of just want to get out of Bitcoin temporarily and get into Ethereum. Unfortunately, I never did. But you can see here, we definitely, our reaction to the upside is here. I mean, overall, though, we still haven't surpassed our old levels of bullish momentum, but it's still early. So let's go to our 4-hour. And so this is where things get a little interesting, all right? This is, so, you know, as we talked about, you know, people are asking, well, how do I look for trade setups? Well, obviously you can tell Bitcoin's kind of struggling a bit, right? Well, do you see anything that maybe could possibly be a red flag right here? It's right here. You're showing lower levels of bullish momentum. Granted, your VWAP is still looking good here. You're still, you know, you're still looking good. But you are starting to show some signs that maybe you're starting to run out of gas. So let's go to our 1-hour. And you can kind of see it here. It's actually a little bit more apparent. You know, just being transparent with you guys, especially while Bitcoin is kind of lagging a bit, I am contemplating getting out of Bitcoin and possibly trading ETH for a short. If Bitcoin is going to plummet here, if it is, Ethereum I think will have the most to lose because it's had a much better run up. So you can see here we had a little bit of, a small dip on the VWAP. We're starting to climb back, but once again, you are showing